What's good, Commanders fans? I'm your host, Jack Sperry, and this is the Commanders Report. On today's show, we're going to do kind of an iteration of cut candidates here, where I'm going to be breaking down 6 players that are currently on the Washington Commanders roster that made the team last year, but might not make it this year. Can't wait to break down my list with you guys here in just a second. But first, do not miss a thing throughout the rest of the offseason, and then, of course, during the 2023 NFL season when it comes to your Washington Commanders by clicking that subscribe button. We try to have videos for you here on the channel each and every day. Might even have a couple of live watch parties for you guys during the primetime games this year. So if you want in-depth coverage on your Washington Commanders, go ahead and click that subscribe button for me right now. All right, now let's start with a couple of guys in the cornerback room that made the team last year that might not make it this year. I'm talking about Troy Apke and Rachad Wildgoose here. And you take a look at the cornerback room for the Commanders. It's much, much improved here in 2023. Of course, you add Emmanuel Forbes and Jartavius Martin with the first 2 picks in the 2023 NFL Draft. You still have Benjamin St-Juste. Kendall Fuller had a really, really nice season for you last year with 3 interceptions. Danny Johnson, if he can stay healthy, he can be pretty nice. And the question is, how many cornerbacks are you going to keep on the roster? And if they're going to be keeping about 6 guys, Apke and Wildgoose are 2 guys that made the team last year that might not make the team this year. Apke last year, just 2 games played, 1 tackle total. Okay, so he's mostly a special teams player, bench player, and because of the additions made in the NFL draft this year, there just might not be enough numbers here for Troy to end up making the team here coming into 2023. And then Rachad Wildgoose, someone that actually played a lot more in the slot last year. He actually played quite a bit, 16 tackles and 3 pass breakups for Rachad last year. But Jartavius Martin is coming in to be that nickel corner. Danny Johnson can play nickel. Same thing with Kendall Fuller as well. They've got a lot of people that can play in the slot. And Wildgoose, let's just be completely honest, didn't play all that well when he was in the lineup last year. So his name could be on the chopping block come training camp. So between Troy Apke and Rachad Wildgoose, if you could only pick one to put on the roster here, or if you have to cut one here, go ahead and cut either Troy Apke by typing TA or Rachad Wildgoose by typing RW. This can be the pinned comment on today's show. So whenever you get a chance here, or whenever YouTube throws you an ad break here, go ahead and answer today's pinned question. Now let's move on to the linebacking core here, where Dejon Harris and Milo Eifler, 2 guys that made the team last year, might not do so in 2023. Just like the cornerback room, the inside linebacker room got a lot better here with Jamin Davis. Cody Barton, you bring him in to replace Cole Holcomb, and then Khaleke Hudson. Somebody that the Commanders fans have been hoping to that kind of comes along here. Really athletic dude is really showing out in camp, which is really, really nice to see. And then, of course, you got David Mayo, very solid backup linebacker. But really, are the Commanders, who are going to be playing mostly nickel with 2 linebackers on the field, going to keep more than 4 linebackers? I'm certainly not sure. Dejon Harris is more of a special teams player. Played in 5 games on the special teams unit last year. Didn't see a whole lot of defensive snaps last year, but man, 6 foot, 213 pounds, still on the roster right now, but he's definitely going to be fighting for a roster spot here come training camp. And then Milo Eifler is the exact same way. Played a little bit more on the field last year when, different injuries and stuff like that were happening. He was more of a rotational piece, 4 tackles and 1 tackle for loss for Milo last year. If I would have to guess, I would say both of these guys actually are going to end up getting cut unless they have a very nice performance here in training camp. So I got 2 more Commanders that made the team last year that might not do so in 2023. But before I reveal those names here in just a second, go ahead and go to the Chat Sports website right now, where you can get this awesome Commanders t-shirt combo, perfect for summer. You got the colorized burgundy Washington Commanders t-shirt there, the short sleeve, which I really like. And then, the colorized long sleeves, I don't really like during the summer because, the heat gets in there. I really prefer white long sleeve shirts. We've got that for you right here as well. I think the designs are pretty darn sweet as well, and you can get them for the price, for a pretty darn good price right now at the Chat Sports website. So go to chatsports.com/Commanders Combo to get your hands on these 2 t-shirts for summer today. All right, now another name here, interior offensive lineman Tyler Larsen, somebody that's played in 8 games last year, right? The Commanders dealt with injuries along the offensive line throughout the season. Larsen, somebody that was playing for the Commanders last year, and he might not make the final roster simply because you got Nick Gates, who they're playing a ton at center right now. You drafted Ricky Stromberg in the 3rd round. So it's certainly looking like that the 2 centers that are going to be on the roster are going to be Nick Gates and Ricky Stromberg, and the person that might be left out in the cold is Tyler Larsen. Now, maybe they move Nick Gates over to left guard if Chris Paul and Sadiq Charles don't get their stuff together here by training camp. That's certainly a possibility. But if Chris Paul or Sadiq Charles really solidifies themselves as the starter, and then Nick Gates solidifies himself as the starting center, then it's certainly looking like Tyler Larsen could be kind of put by the wayside here, and he could be cut by the end of training camp. Then a very popular name in Commanders Nation, Dax Milne, wide receiver, big name coming out of BYU, right? He was the #1 target for Zach Wilson coming out in the 2021 NFL Draft. He's made the team last year. 6 receptions, 37 yards, and a TD for Milne last year. And, I just think that because the wide receiver room here with the Washington Commanders is absolutely fantastic with Terry McLaurin and Jahan Dotson as your X and your Z. And then you got Curtis Samuel in the slot. Very nice. Then you got De'Ami Brown, a really nice backup piece. Marcus Kemp coming in from Kansas City, more of the true red zone threat, bigger wide receiver. And really there's just one more spot left to fill because usually teams carry 6 wide receivers. And Mitchell Tinsley out of Penn State, the undrafted free agent, has been really, really nice as well. And then somebody else that could be making the roster as a wide receiver is Kazmir Allen, another undrafted free agent for the Commanders. He's really been showing out as a special teams kickoff and punt return man during OTAs, mandatory minicamp. And there are rumors circling right now that Kazmir could take Dax's spot on the final 53-man roster. And, for me, I think that the Commanders could certainly use somebody that's a dynamic weapon on special teams. I think Allen has more electricity, or he brings more of that explosiveness to the special teams punt and kickoff game than Milne does. So I'd say there's actually a pretty decent chance that Allen ends up making the team over Milne. But let me know what you guys think down in the comment section. Pick one to keep on the Commanders roster here for 2023. If you want to stick with Dax Milne, type DM. Or if you want Kazmir Allen, the undrafted free agent, to get that 6th wide receiver spot, type KA down there in the comment section. That'll be it for me today. Commanders fans, really do appreciate all of the support. Make sure you click that subscribe button and turn on your notifications as well, because we're going to have a bunch of great stuff coming your way. Of course, training camp is right around the corner. Potentially a Hard Knocks announcement could be coming here in the coming weeks. We've got live watch parties that are probably going to be coming during this season as well. And then, of course, we're going to be covering all 17 games of the Commanders schedule. So make sure you click that subscribe button and turn on your notifications so you never miss any moments this season.